Good morning guys, welcome back to Bareham Engines. I'm not going to go on today, I'm just going to quickly say, as the YouTubers say, smash that subscribe button guys, we're doing really well. Cheers. Well, you can see the kit car is down on the floor at the minute, people. There's a reason for that. One, we had to get it off the ramp today, so you can see everything's a bit scattered about the place. Because we had our inspector come to inspect the ramp. All is good, fortunately, but while the car was on the ground, I thought I may as well start it up. Bear in mind, we haven't started this up since pretty much the last track day. We've got the tyres on there now, you can see, but we went to fire it up. The fuel pump sort of was ticking over, it wouldn't fire up. And I've looked underneath, I took the bonnet off, had a look underneath. This fuel pipe here was soaking wet and there was fuel absolutely everywhere under the car. So I've give the carburetors a bit of a tap. We stuck some more fuel in it, waited for it all to sort of evaporate, so we had no bonfires in here. And it's fired up after a sort of bit of a misfire, and took a little minute or two, but it's fired up and it sounds absolutely sweet as a nut. And all it's done is now give me the bug to get this thing back out on track, guys. Just want to thank you all for your lovely comments in the last video regarding our new E30 toy that we're going to be getting, the project. My feeling is at the moment, a few of you suggested maybe raffling it off, and you know, my feeling is at the moment, I think I'd like to just keep this kit car. If we do some track days, get the other car built in the sort of time scale that we're thinking, we're still going to be needing to use this car for at least the next sort of 3 months. So I think I'm going to just hang on to the kit car for a minute. I can't quite let it go at the minute. I like it too much. It was only really last year we've got it all fitted, you know, we've got it all sorted out. We've got the new loom, the dash, the centre console there, obviously the Bareham Engines orange livery, and now we've got the new tyres on. I just love the thing, guys. I've got a bit of a soft spot for it. So I think I'm just going to hang on to it for as long as I can. Obviously, it's money in the bank for the business. It's an asset for the business, so it's not going anywhere. The money, whether the money's in the bank or in this, I don't think we're going to lose much on this, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think we'll just hang on to it. But as far as the E30 goes, I actually had a few emails today from that last video saying about people think it's a great idea. People seem to absolutely love the E30. I know I do, because I had a 318 IS about sort of 10 years ago. Wish I never sold it. Absolutely love that car. And the IS, having the 4-cylinder 16 valve in, was a really good motor for that car. This one is a 325. It's on ITB, you know, throttle, independent throttle bodies. It's got a nice exhaust manifold. But I think the engine, apart from that, is stock. And Malcolm said that it sort of lacks a bit of power. So yeah, the S50 is an option. Obviously, Dave's got one for sale. We've since had a few emails in the last day or so of people that have got S50 engines and want to sort of do a deal, and we'll sell them. So there's plenty of options there on the S50s. But also I've spoke to someone else, a customer of ours, who's, you know, well into the BMWs, and he says maybe for the channel it might be a sort of better option building the M20. Big ported head, big valves, roller rockers, 304 camshafts, something like that. Stick some trick pistons and rods, get it up to a sort of 270 horsepower if you can, maybe stroker, and have it nice and revvy. Don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that, guys, but I don't know. Now I've had a bit of a think about it, he's sort of swayed me towards moving towards that. Also, the engine's going to be a bit lighter, so the car may handle a bit better than the S50. Who knows? Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. If there's any of you out there that have got experience with the E30s, let me know what you think. But I'm quite liking the sound of a nice revvy M20. So yeah, let me know what you think. Right, guys, thumbnail and title time. The V8 BMW over there. So with engines like this that are, let's be honest, they're quite complicated, although in some respects simple to build. Like I said to you, on these with these aliasil bores and that, you can't bore them, you can't really face anything. We can sort of go through the cylinder head and maybe, you know, freshen up the valves and what have you. But there's not a great deal you can do. Bath, clean everything up, service it all, put new bits in it. So they're quite simple to build like that, but the actual engine is quite a complex engine, I suppose, in a way. It's always worrying when we've got engine failure symptoms like this, where it's literally done one bearing shell on the main. All the rest seem to be okay. The big ends all seem to be not too bad at all. And it hasn't damaged the housing in the block. Fortunately, it's just caught in time. So always a little bit worrying when you're building these things. It's okay, obviously measuring everything, making sure it's all right. But of course, once we've built it, we've got to warrant it. And it's a little bit worrying when it's just done something like that and there's no explanation for it. But I suppose not for the customer, but for us really, we're pleased to say that we may have found a problem with this. In fact, we are almost certain that we have. So Paul today has obviously cleaned this one up thoroughly. It's looking really, really good. All the bores are cleaned up, everything's cleaned up. Now through here, you have got a water pipe. So you've got the water pump that goes on this side, I believe, pushes water through here. And then you've got a water jacket on the back, which is all enclosed, and that forces water into all the water jackets around here, keeps it all nice and cool. Underneath that, in here, is the main oil gallery. So you've got one bung here and one here. And fortunately, Paul has removed that to clean it. And as you can see, if I show you up there, you can see daylight the other side. So he's given that a thorough clean. But when he removed this bung out of here, he's seen something in there and he thought, well, maybe it's maybe it's a core plug or something like that. It looked a bit weird. So he's got a rod go through the back, push it out. And what we found in there, guys, is this. So that there, we can only think is the remainder of an old filter. It's a paper element oil filter in this. Apparently it's had a bit of a shady history, service history. Whether it's been neglected on the services at some point, as a lot of BMWs seem to be, because they run so well, people sort of, when they get a few years down the line, they seem to just leave the oil changes till late. But that looks like it's broken up, gone into the main oil gallery and just wedged itself at the back. Now, the only problem is with that, if I turn this engine on its side quickly, then where it has wedged at the back, you see that it's in line. That main oil gallery there feeds each main bearing journal. And it's on this one here, which contains the thrusts, which it's done the bearing on. And you can see the hole there, the feed hole. So with that paper element jammed in the back, you know, that's obviously as far as it can go. It's obviously not allowing oil to feed through there at all, or very, very limited. And that seems to be what may have done the bearing, guys. So, yeah, very unlucky, I suppose, for the customer. But for us, we're just glad we found something, because obviously we don't like to, it's not nice putting an engine back together without knowing why it's done it originally, really, which is usually a trait of this type of modern engine. Bit of a nightmare, guys. As I say, it does look like it may be down to lack of servicing. The paper element maybe is just broken up. Well, it looks like Paul has discarded of the paper element, unfortunately, but that's where it goes. It sits over here. So instead of a canister type, you've got the cover that goes on, but it's just a paper sort of concertinaed filter that sits on there. But that is the only thing we can think. It looks very, very similar to that cardboardy sort of filter. So yeah, there we go, guys. We shall stick that in a bag and give that to the customer as sort of evidence as to what the issue may have been. So I suppose the moral of the story here is, guys, make sure you service your vehicle regularly, or at least on the schedule intervals. So yeah, good news, but I suppose bad news for the customer. So the Lagonda, you see the rocker covers are off. There is a reason for that, guys. John has filled this full of oil, and John, being what he is, he's a bit paranoid, really. He wants to get oil pressure up, which is obviously what we do anyway. But I think he's been having a couple of sleepless nights. He's been waiting for me to make this adapter to go in our big drill there that we stick in the front to turn over and get oil pressure up. He's had a couple of sleepless nights he just wants to make sure that we've got decent oil pressure. So we have turned it over and we've took the filter housing off, and there is oil absolutely peeing out of here. So that's good news. The reason we've done that is just to bypass the filter housing here, just to make sure that the pressure is coming from the main gallery. We've obviously stripped that out, cleaned it all out, make sure that's good. John has got an oil filter. When he put the housing on with this oil filter, it isn't the correct filter. I think it's flowing through the wrong way. So this is the original. We're gonna get another one of these, put that on and make sure it all flows. We can actually fit and the oil pressure gauge in the top of that housing. So now we know that we have got oil pressure and we're not just turning it round dry. Now we've done that, we're going to get that housing on, get the new filter on, put the oil pressure gauge on and get the oil pressure up. And we're also going to make sure the oil pressure comes up to the top and sort of covers the camshafts and the rockers and what have you in oil before we put those covers back on. That's the reason we've got those off. But yeah, apart from that, providing the oil pressure's all good, guys, that is going to be on its way. The reason it hasn't gone is, one, because of that, and two, I think there's a bit of a delay. The customer's away at the moment, so it's a good opportunity to sort of get to this stage. But yeah, looking forward to the guy, fingers crossed, getting this in the vehicle and letting us know how well it is running. So the Pinto, guys, great news on this. We have got the go ahead. I spoke to Sean today, the owner of the vehicle. And very interestingly, having spoke to Sean, he seems to have quite a number of vehicles in his collection. This one, for any of you that haven't been watching the videos or haven't watched the last couple of weeks, this Pinto here is out of a Mark II Escort, ex-rally vehicle. He's got two of them. It should have had a BDA in it, which he's got the engine of. And he said that he's going to be sending it over, so really looking forward to getting in amongst that BDA engine. But this was sent over to South America, where the vehicle was being rallied because they couldn't get parts for the BDA, and this was sent as a replacement. So it's sort of a bit of a trick spec. Once the vehicle's done, we're going to keep the engine here by the sounds of it, and we're going to be installing the engine and getting it running. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And as I say, he is going to be sending us that BDA engine for the other vehicle. Sean has got 23 vehicles in his collection, a lot of Ford stuff. Really interesting to see some of those vehicles. He's going to be sending me some photos. But just while we're quickly on the subject of this Pinto, guys, Sean did say, I said, obviously we're a bit off yet, but what colour would you like it? And he said that he's going to do some research and to see what colour blue it should be, but he actually likes this blue here. He believes that may be the original colour. You Ford buffs out there know of the blue that this should be. Please let us know if you've got a colour code, and we should get that paint mixed up and get it painted that colour. So yeah, it's a little bit like a sky blue, but whether that is the original colour, I'm not quite sure. But if any of you can help us out on that, please feel free to do so. Wow, thank you very much for watching, guys, yet again. Sorry today, it's been a bit of a run through what we've got. Not too many machining processes today, but there will be in Friday's video. We're going to crack on with this Pinto, so we've got to get machining that. And also, as you can see, the V8 has been bored, so we are going to be cracking on with that build there, checking some clearances, what have you. So stay tuned, guys. As I say, thank you very much, and we will see you on Friday. Cheers.